Hello, my friend. It's Tom. If you are listening to this tonight, you can turn the lights down low now. You can close your eyes if you want to. You do not need to understand every word. You do not need to try hard at all. Just let your body relax and let your mind rest, and let my voice carry you gently through a quiet story. Tonight, we are going to visit a small, sleepy street called Bellhaven Row, where an old clock tower stands at one end, and where the whole street, in its own quiet way, has learned something rather beautiful: the value of a pause. Nothing exciting happens on Bellhaven Road tonight, nothing dramatic. It is simply a calm, ordinary evening, the kind of evening where every sound seems to leave a little space around it, the kind of evening that helps a tired mind finally let go. As we walk through this story together, you will hear simple English spoken slowly with soft spaces between the words, the kind of English people use every single day. You do not need to remember it. You do not need to repeat it. Your mind, even while it rests, is quietly listening, quietly learning in its own gentle way. There is real research behind this. Sleep researchers, including work associated with Harvard Medical School's Robert Stickgold, have long studied how the brain continues processing recently heard language during rest, gently strengthening patterns it absorbed while relaxed. And the linguist Stephen Krashen described something called the affective filter, the idea that a calm, low-stress mind absorbs language far more easily than an anxious, effortful one. A sleepy mind, strange as it sounds, can be a wonderfully relaxed place for language to quietly settle in. So tonight, do not work, do not study, just listen softly, the way you would listen to a clock ticking gently in another room, and let the story carry you. Welcome to Level Up Talks, where you improve your English and improve your life together. Before we begin our story, let us take a slow moment together, just you and me, to let your body rest. Wherever you are lying right now, let your body sink, slowly, softly, into the bed beneath you. Start with your feet. Let them go soft. Let them go heavy. There is nowhere for them to walk tonight. Now your legs. Let them feel heavy too, warm and heavy, resting completely, with nothing left for them to do. Now your hands. Let your fingers uncurl, slowly, gently, resting softly wherever they are. There is nothing for them to hold tonight, nothing for them to carry. Now your shoulders. Let them drop, softly, away from your ears, the way they drop at the very end of a long, tiring day. Let them feel heavy and warm and still. Now your jaw. Let it soften. Let your lips part just slightly, the way they do when sleep is truly close. And now your eyes, even if they are already closed, let them rest completely, soft and still behind your quiet eyelids. Take one slow breath in, and let it go, slowly, gently. And now, before the next breath comes, let there be a tiny pause, a small, still space right at the bottom of the breath, where nothing needs to happen at all. Good. Just like that. There is nothing else you need to do right now, except listen, softly, to the quiet story I am about to tell you. Let us begin. Chapter 1. The Walk to Bellhaven Row. It is late afternoon on Bellhaven Row, and Eleanor is walking home slowly from the library where she has worked for many years. The air is cool and soft against her face. The sky above her is changing, slowly, from a pale daytime blue into something gentler, something warmer, the first quiet colors of evening beginning to appear at the edges of the clouds. Eleanor does not walk quickly. She never does at this time of day. She believes the walk home is not simply a way of getting somewhere. It is a small pause between one part of the day and the next, a soft space where nothing is required of her at all. At the far end of the street stands the old clock tower, tall and gray and gentle with age, its face pale in the fading light. As Eleanor passes beneath it, the tower gives a single low chime, marking the half-hour. Then silence, a full round silence, hanging in the air after the sound has gone. Eleanor has always loved that silence best of all, the moment just after the bell, before the street continues on with its evening. She turns onto Belhaven Row itself now, her own street, lined with old chestnut trees, whose leaves are beginning to rustle gently in the cooling evening breeze. She can already see her small house near the end of the street, its windows still dark, waiting quietly for her to come home. With every slow step, Eleanor feels the day behind her growing smaller, quieter, further away. By the time she reaches her own front door, the busy day feels almost like a distant memory already, replaced gently by the soft, familiar comfort of home. Chapter 2. The End of the Day. It is evening on Belhaven Row. The sun is going down, slowly, softly, behind the old rooftops at the end of the street. The sky is turning a gentle orange, then a soft pink, then a quiet, deep blue. Inside her small house, Eleanor is finishing her day. She is not in a hurry. She never rushes in the evening. She believes the evening is a time to slow down, not speed up. She closes her book on the small table by the door. She takes a slow breath in and a slow breath out. Between the two breaths, just for a moment, there is nothing at all. No thought, no plan, only a soft, quiet stillness. She stands up from her chair. She stretches her arms above her head. Her body feels tired, in a good way, the way a body feels after a long, full day. Outside her window, a bird is singing quietly. It sings a few notes, then stops. A pause, then a few notes more. It is the last song of the day, sung slowly, unhurried, before the birds go to sleep too. Eleanor listens for a moment, smiling softly at the small silences between the notes. Then she walks, slowly, toward her kitchen. The kitchen is small and warm. The evening light comes softly through the window, painting golden lines across the wooden table. Eleanor fills the kettle with water. She places it on the stove. She waits, patiently, for the water to warm, and there is something in her that has always loved this kind of waiting, this small stretch of time with nothing to do but be still. Chapter 3. A Cup of Tea. Eleanor takes a cup from the shelf. It is her favorite cup, a simple, cream-colored cup with a thin gold line around the rim. She has used this cup for many years. She places a tea bag inside the cup. She pours the warm water over it, slowly, carefully. The water turns a soft golden brown. A gentle smell fills the kitchen, warm and comforting. Eleanor waits. She does not rush the tea. Good tea, she believes, takes a little patience. a small pause of its own between the pouring and the drinking. While she waits, she thinks about her day. It was a normal day. Nothing special happened. She spoke with a few visitors at the library. She ate her lunch slowly by the window, watching people walk by outside. Normal days, Eleanor often thinks, are quietly good days. Not every day needs to be full of sound and movement. Sometimes the most important part of a day is simply the space between one thing and the next. She removes the tea bag. She adds a small spoon of honey. She stirs it slowly, the spoon making a soft, quiet sound against the cup. She wraps both hands around the warm cup. It feels good against her skin. Outside, the sky is now a deep, soft blue. The first stars are beginning to appear, small and quiet, far above the rooftops of Belhaven Row. Eleanor carries her tea toward the window. She sits down in her favorite chair, the old blue one by the window, the one that has held her through 1,000 quiet evenings like this one. She takes her first sip slowly. Before the second sip, she pauses, just for a moment, the cup resting gently near her lips, her eyes closed, simply feeling the warmth. If you were listening right now, you might notice your own breathing too. There is no need to change it. Just notice it, softly, the way Eleanor notices the warmth of her cup. Chapter 4. The Street Outside. From her window, she can see the whole street. Belhaven Row is a quiet street, lined with old chestnut trees and small, friendly houses. A man named Mr. Hale is walking his dog. The dog is small and gray, and it walks slowly, stopping every so often simply to stand still and sniff the evening air. Mr. Hale waits for it patiently, in no hurry at all. He nods to a neighbor. He looks up at the sky. He smiles at something only he can see. Across the street, the Ferreira family is finishing dinner. Eleanor can see them through their window, sitting together at a small table. A father, a mother, 2 children, laughing softly at something only they understand. Eleanor does not know their names, not really, but she has watched this family, quietly, kindly, for many months now, and she feels, in a small way, that she knows them anyway. This is simply what happens on a quiet street. You come to know the rhythm of your neighbors' lives even without many words. The streetlights begin to turn on one by one, glowing softly orange in the growing darkness. The first lamp near the corner, then the one outside the small bakery, then the one right outside Eleanor's own window. Between each lamp lighting, there is a small dark pause, a moment of waiting before the next soft glow appears. A gentle wind moves through the chestnut trees outside. The leaves whisper softly, a quiet, calming sound, like the street itself is breathing slowly, settling down for the night, breathing in, and then, just for a moment, holding still before breathing softly out again. Chapter 5. The Last Train. At the end of Belhaven Row, where the street meets the old station road, the last train of the evening arrives, slowly, its soft engine humming as it comes to a gentle stop. Only one passenger steps off tonight, a tired-looking woman in a long gray coat, carrying a small case in one hand. She stands on the platform for a moment before walking, her footsteps quiet on the pavement, as though she needs that one still moment before her evening can properly begin. The train doors close softly behind her with a gentle hiss, and the train pulls away again, slowly, its warm yellow lights fading gradually into the darkening evening, off toward some other quiet street, some other neighborhood settling down for the night. The tired woman passes beneath the street lamp near Eleanor's house, and for just a moment her face is lit softly, gently, before she moves on into the shadows again, disappearing toward her own home, her own warm kitchen, her own quiet evening waiting for her. Eleanor watches her pass, though the woman does not notice her at the window. She hopes, quietly, that this small pause on the platform was enough to let the day settle. Everyone on Belhaven Row, she often thinks, deserves at least that much. Chapter 6. Mr. Hale and the Clock Tower. Down at the end of Belhaven Row, Mr. Hale is still walking, slowly, patiently, with his small gray dog. The dog's name is Pebble, and Pebble is in no hurry at all tonight. Mr. Hale is an older man with soft white hair and kind, careful hands. For many years, he has been the one who cares for the old clock tower at the end of the street, climbing its narrow stairs once a week to wind it, gently, by hand. He often says that a clock, like a person, needs its pauses. Between every tick and every talk, he explains, there is a tiny moment where nothing happens at all. And that tiny moment, he believes, is just as important as the tick and the talk themselves. Without it, he says, there would be no rhythm, just noise. Pebble stops to smell a patch of grass near the tower's old stone base. Mr. Hale waits, patiently, his hands in his coat pockets, looking up at the darkening sky. He is never in a hurry to get home. The walk itself, he often says, is the best part of his whole day. A neighbor passes by and says a soft good night. Mr. Hale nods and smiles, a small, warm smile, the kind that does not need many words to say what it means. Pebble finally finishes smelling the grass, and the two of them continue on, slowly, unhurried, two familiar shapes moving quietly through the soft evening light. Chapter 7. A Cello from an Open Window. As Mr. Hale and Pebble pass the small stone house near the middle of the street, a soft sound drifts out through an open window, the low, warm notes of a cello, slow and unhurried, played by hands that know the piece well enough not to rush it. Inside, a young woman named Noor sits with her grandmother's old cello, playing quietly, more for herself than for anyone listening. She plays a piece with many rests in it, small silences written carefully between the notes, exactly where the composer wanted them. Noor once believed the rests were simply empty spaces, gaps to get through quickly on the way to the next note. Her teacher corrected her gently. The rest, he told her, is not empty at all. It is where the music breathes. Play through it too quickly, and the whole piece loses its meaning. The melody floats gently out into the cooling evening air, drifting over garden fences, past sleepy cats and quiet flower beds, reaching the ears of anyone still awake enough on Belhaven Row to notice it, and reaching, too, the small silences Noor leaves so carefully between each phrase. Mr. Hale slows his walk just slightly, listening for a moment, a small, warm smile crossing his tired face. Pebble sits down quietly beside him, ears soft, listening too, or perhaps simply resting. After a few minutes, the music slows even further, then fades gently into silence, a real silence now, the kind at the very end of a piece, when the last note has finished, but the room has not yet decided to speak again. The street feels quieter now, but warmer somehow too, as though the small silence had gently wrapped itself around every house on Belhaven Row. Chapter 8. The Baker's Last Light. Near the corner of Belhaven Row, there is a small bakery. Its sign says simply, in soft painted letters, Yusuf's Bread. Inside, Mr. Yusuf is finishing his evening work. The ovens are cooling now slowly after a long day of baking. The smell of warm bread still lingers gently in the air, soft and comforting, drifting quietly out through the open door. Mr. Yusuf wipes the counter slowly, one gentle motion after another. He has done this same task every evening for many years, and his hands know exactly what to do without his needing to think about it at all. He turns off the lights, one by one. The shop grows dark and still. He steps outside, locks the door gently behind him, and looks up just for a moment at the same soft, darkening sky that Eleanor and Mr. Hale are both looking at too. Three neighbors on the same quiet street, each pausing to look up at the very same evening sky, each unaware of the other, and yet in some small way sharing this same peaceful moment together. Chapter 9. The Clock That Waited. High above the street, inside the old stone tower, Mr. Hale climbs the narrow spiral stairs, slowly, one careful step at a time, Pebble waiting patiently below. At the top, the great old clock waits for him, its brass gears gleaming softly in the last light through the small round window. Mr. Hale opens the small wooden door in its side and gently checks the long pendulum swinging back and forth, back and forth. He has always loved this particular moment, right at the very top of the pendulum's swing, where it seems for just a fraction of a second to stop completely, hanging still in the air before gravity gently pulls it back the other way. That tiny stillness, he believes, is where the whole rhythm of the clock is quietly born. There is real science behind this feeling, too. In 2013, researchers at Duke University, led by Imke Kiersta, found that periods of true silence were linked to the growth of new cells in the hippocampus of mice, a part of the brain closely connected to memory and learning. And in the study of language itself, researchers such as the psycholinguist Ann Cutler have shown that listeners use the small pauses between words and phrases to help their brains organize speech into meaningful pieces, making it easier, not harder, to understand. The pause, it turns out, is not a gap in meaning. It is often where meaning is quietly built. Mr. Hale closes the little wooden door softly. He checks his pocket watch against the great clock's face, a small, careful habit, and begins his slow walk back down the spiral stairs, Pebble's tail thumping gently against the stone floor as he hears his master's footsteps returning. Chapter 10. Counting the Windows. From her chair by the window, Eleanor begins, without really deciding to, a small, quiet habit of hers. She begins counting the lit windows along Belhaven Row, one by one, slowly, gently, the way some people count sheep. The first window belongs to Mr. Hale's house, warm and yellow, glowing softly now that he and Pebble have finally returned from their slow evening walk. 1. The second window belongs to the Ferreira family across the street, though it is dimmer now, softer, the children's bedroom light already fading toward sleep. 2. The third window is above the closed bakery, where Mr. Yusuf lives in the small flat upstairs, his kitchen light glowing gently as he prepares his own quiet dinner. 3. The fourth window belongs to an elderly couple 2 houses down, who Eleanor often sees sitting together in the evenings, not speaking much, simply content in each other's quiet company. 4. The fifth window is Noor's, soft and warm, her cello now resting quietly in its case beside her. 5. Eleanor continues, slowly, gently, one window at a time. 6, 7, 8, leaving a small pause after every number, the way Mr. Hale leaves a pause between every tick of his tower clock. There is no reason for this counting, no goal to reach. It is simply a quiet, gentle habit, a way of feeling close to her small, sleepy street, one warm light and one soft pause at a time. By the time she reaches 9, then 10, her eyes are growing heavy, her counting slower still, the numbers themselves beginning to blur softly together, the way numbers do when a mind is close to resting. Chapter 11. The Family Across the Street. Back at her window, Eleanor is still watching, gently, the small life of Belhaven Row moving around her. Across the street, the Ferreira family is beginning their own bedtime routine. The father is washing dishes slowly at the sink, humming softly to himself, a tune Eleanor cannot quite hear but can somehow tell is gentle and slow. The mother is upstairs now, and through the soft glow of a bedroom window, Eleanor can see her sitting on the edge of a small bed, a storybook open on her lap. The 2 children sit close beside her, their small shapes leaning in, listening carefully. The mother reads slowly, and after every page she pauses, just for a moment, giving the words a little room to settle before turning to the next page. Eleanor cannot hear the words from her window, but she remembers this feeling well, the warm, safe feeling of being read to slowly, gently, right before sleep, a parent's calm voice becoming the last sound of the day. The bedroom light stays soft and warm for a little while longer, then, gently, it dims, then disappears completely. The children of Belhaven Row are asleep now, or very close to it, carried off by a quiet story, the same way Eleanor hopes this one will carry you. Chapter 12. Eleanor's Small Garden. After finishing her tea, Eleanor walks outside, into her small garden behind the house. The air outside is cool now, gentle against her skin. The grass is soft under her feet. She walks slowly, the way she always walks in the evening, without any hurry at all. Eleanor has a small garden, nothing grand, just a few flowers, a small tree, and a wooden bench where she likes to sit. She grows simple flowers, the kind that do not need much care. Yellow flowers, white flowers, a few soft purple ones near the fence. She sits down on her wooden bench. It is old and a little worn, but it is comfortable, shaped now by years of quiet evenings just like this one. She looks up. The sky above her garden is dark now, a deep, soft blue-black, filled with small, quiet stars. Eleanor breathes in slowly, and this time, right at the top of the breath, she holds it for just a second, a small, gentle pause, the way Mr. Hale's pendulum pauses at the top of its swing, before letting it go softly into the cool evening air. A small gray cat walks slowly along the fence. It looks at Eleanor for a moment, then continues on its way, disappearing softly into the shadows of the garden next door. Eleanor smiles. Even the cat, she thinks, understands the quiet rhythm of this street, walking a little, then stopping completely still, then walking on again. Chapter 13. A Gentle Memory. Sitting in her garden, Eleanor remembers a summer evening from many years ago. She was young then, sitting with her grandmother on a bench very much like this one. Eleanor had always been a quick talker as a child, rushing her words, tumbling one sentence into the next without a breath between them. Her grandmother used to place a gentle hand on her arm and say softly, slowly, "Before you speak, count to 3. Not because what you say is wrong, just so it has room to be heard." Eleanor did not fully understand this when she was young. Now, many years later, sitting alone in her own quiet garden, she understands it completely. Her grandmother used to point at the stars one by one and give them small, funny names, always waiting a moment between each one. "That one," she would say, and then pause, "is the sleepy star. That one," another pause, "is the star that forgot its way home." Eleanor would laugh softly every single time, the little pause somehow making the joke even better. And on the quietest evenings, her grandmother used to tell her a small, simple story, the same one again and again, a story just for falling asleep. Eleanor remembers it now, softly, as if her grandmother were sitting right beside her. "There was once," her grandmother would begin, "a small wooden boat resting gently on a calm, quiet lake. The boat did not need to hurry anywhere. Between each gentle wave, it would rise softly, then rest completely still for just a moment before the next wave carried it on. It was not the waves that made the boat feel calm," her grandmother would always say, her voice growing quieter and quieter. "It was the little stillness in between them. And that," she would whisper at the very end, "is exactly how a good night's sleep should feel. Not one long, smooth movement, but a gentle rising and resting and rising again, softly, with nowhere you need to be." Eleanor smiles now, alone in her garden, remembering the small wooden boat, remembering her grandmother's soft, fading voice. She looks up now at her own sky, and quietly, gently, she gives one small star a name too, and pauses, just as her grandmother taught her, before she says it out loud. Chapter 14. Walking Back Inside. After a while, Eleanor feels her eyes growing heavy. It is time to go back inside. She stands up slowly from the wooden bench. She looks once more at the quiet sky, the soft stars, the dark, peaceful shapes of the trees around her garden. She walks back toward her house, her steps slow and unhurried on the cool grass. She opens the door quietly, as if the whole street might be sleeping already, and she does not want to wake it. Inside, her house is warm and quiet. She turns off the kitchen light. She washes her teacup gently and places it back on the shelf, ready for tomorrow. She checks that her window is closed. She checks that her door is locked. These are small, simple actions, done the same way every single night, and there is something deeply comforting about their familiar rhythm, a little pause of checking before the longer pause of sleep. Eleanor walks slowly up the stairs. Each step creaks gently, softly, a sound she has known her whole life in this house. She does not mind it. It feels to her like the house itself pausing to say good night. She reaches her bedroom. The room is dark and cool and quiet. Moonlight comes softly through the curtains, painting a gentle silver light across the floor. She changes slowly, unhurriedly, into soft, comfortable clothes. She pulls back the blanket. She lies down, slowly, gently, feeling the softness of her bed beneath her. Chapter 15. Drifting. Eleanor lies quietly in the darkness. Her body feels heavy now, in the good way. the way a body feels at the true end of a long, full day. She listens to the quiet sounds of the house around her, the soft settling of old wood, the gentle whisper of wind outside her window. Somewhere far away, very faintly, the clock tower gives one last soft chime, and then a long, full silence. Her thoughts move slowly now, softly, like clouds drifting across a calm evening sky, each one arriving, resting for a moment, and drifting quietly onward. She thinks of her tea, she thinks of her garden, she thinks of her grandmother, and the sleepy star, somewhere above her, still quietly shining. If you are still listening, it is all right if your own thoughts are beginning to drift too. You do not need to follow every word anymore. You do not need to hold on to anything at all. Just let my voice become soft, distant, like a gentle sound in another room, while you rest. Eleanor thinks one last time of the little wooden boat, rising and resting, rising and resting, on its calm, quiet lake. Nowhere to go, no hurry at all, just softly rising and softly pausing and softly rising again. Her eyes grow heavier, her breathing grows slower, deeper, calmer, with a longer, softer pause settling gently between each one. This is the end of an ordinary day on Belhaven Row. Nothing exciting happened, nothing dramatic. Just tea and a garden and a quiet street and a gentle memory of someone she loved. And that, Eleanor believes, sleepily, softly, right before her eyes finally close, is exactly enough. And there we leave Belhaven Row, my friend, quiet and calm, resting now under its soft blanket of stars. You do not need to remember the story. You do not need to remember the words. Your mind has already gently held on to what it needed, quietly, in its own soft way, the same way it held on to every story I have ever told you. Let your body feel heavy now, the way Eleanor's did. Let your thoughts move slowly, softly, like quiet clouds, each one resting for a moment before drifting on. There is nothing left to do tonight, nothing to learn, nothing to practice, only rest. Tomorrow, the sun will rise again over Belhaven Row, and over wherever you are too. But for now, the day is finished, gently, softly, completely. Let us breathe together one last time, slowly, gently, the way Eleanor breathed in her small, quiet garden. Breathe in, slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now hold it there, softly, just for a moment. A small, still pause, right at the top. And breathe out, slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Once more if you would like to. Breathe in slowly, gently. Pause softly at the top. And out, slowly, softly, like the little wooden boat resting quietly between two gentle waves. There is nowhere you need to be right now, nothing you need to hold on to, just this soft, quiet moment, and my voice, gently fading now, like the last light in Mr. Yusuf's small bakery window. Somewhere, out there, Belhaven Row is sleeping now, completely. Mr. Hale's window has gone dark. Noor's cello is quiet in its case. The elderly couple, 2 houses down, have turned off their soft lamp at last. Even the old clock tower seems to pause a little longer between its chimes tonight, as if it too were finally resting. And somewhere, wherever you are, your own small corner of the world is settling too, quietly, gently, the same soft way. Good night, my friend. I will be here again next time with another quiet story whenever you are ready to rest. Good night.